the care that he needed and get him the surgery. And now he seems to be thriving, which I love. But I do love to see both of them in that conversation that they had together when he looked at Carol and told her that she makes the light. Oh, God. Just thought that was the sweetest thing. It totally brought tears in my eyes. I thought it was just the sweetest thing. And Carol's like, oh, we're not getting back together, I was like, damn it, Carol. Let me have my moment.
And then he said, you always say that.
I know.
Which, I think the way that was written, Kari Payton could have read it like, you always say that. But he said, you always say that, like, but I think, maybe different.
I think he's thinking, well, you always say that, but one of these days I'm going to wear you down.
Yeah.
Right. Which I would be totally down for if he, if they keep having moments like that and maybe they are able to find a way to come together. I just really enjoy seeing them together. I think it's lovely. I think it's lovely that they can still be friends after they had their long relationship and they do still care for each other and they can have those conversations. And God, Ezekiel just knows her so well. So I really like their dynamic and I like, kind of what they've got going on the side. I'm curious though, what Carol's got going on because it's like she's practically running the Commonwealth, it seems already, and these, how she's been patient with this whole thing with Hornsby that she's got going on and, how that's going to come about. Like I said, this whole pot of boiling water, I think is just getting ready to like really boil over here. And so how is that going to come into part? I really liked seeing Ezekiel's efforts with this underground hospital, and I think it totally fit with Ezekiel's character, which I'd love to see kind of come back around a little bit. There was this phrase that he kind of lived by, and I think he told Rick and his group kind of this is how he kind of runs the kingdom, was this phrase that he had used was drink from the well, replenish the well. And so it totally, I think, fits his character to kind of go back to these beliefs that he has, when we first met him. And it was always kind of about, pulling your own weight. And, and maybe it was Carol and Morgan, sorry, because I think were they the first ones that kind of encountered him. But, he told them, he's like,
Yep.
You take from the well, but you replenish the well. Take what you need, but you have a responsibility to give back to the community. And, that's what I think.
And he feels like he owes a debt because he got that free surgery, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he was worried about people below him on the list not getting treatment because he jumped the line. So now he's going to.
And do what he can to help the people that need it because, this person needs an appendectomy, which I think in a lot of cases can be pretty serious and be considered emergent. So why are they having to be on a list? Now I know that there can be some, like you can, until it bursts, you can kind of live with appendicitis. And
not that long.
Not that long.
It's going to burst.
Yeah, it's probably going to happen. I think you can kind of just be in this kind of limbo kind of period where you're like, oh, I hope it doesn't burst, but until then, so yeah, I love that. I think it holds true to his character. I think Carol's definitely still holding true to her character. And I loved seeing that interaction between them and how it's going to play out, when it does bubble over. But yeah, I love that about Ezekiel. He's one of my favorite characters. So I love that, they've kind of stayed true to who he is and his core person. And the person that, I forget her name, that needed the appendectomy, was someone from the kingdom that Ezekiel had a relationship with, or sorry, not a relationship, but just because she was a member of the kingdom, and she was one of the few survivors of the kingdom. And
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so I like that it was someone that he has a connection with from his previous life, and
so now she's getting privileges.
Yeah,
because of her connections. Okay, let's see the way it is.
Well,
it even happens with
bumped
the good
her
people.
right up to the top of the list. Yeah.
Yep. So, that was, my last point was just Carol and Ezekiel. I love seeing them, together, and also their separate activities as well going on here in the Commonwealth and how that's going to play out. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved that whole sequence with them at the end where he's talking about, she's mentioning she's really stressed out because of everything she heard Lance say last week.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just, they're totally not in the same headspace because he's really proud of what he's doing. And so she's thinking about all the darkness over the years, but you're glowing, she said to him. And then he said, we make the light, you make the light, Carol. You know that, don't you? And I love that because I think that, you know, I mean, you need time to feel everything, and you need to give yourself permission to grieve or to process and all that. But in general, I think in life that we need to like keep that, not let that inner light go out, you know, and try to focus more on good things, and like whatever you focus on is really what your life is going to be all about. So I've always believed in balance. If something needs to be fixing, you got to pay attention to it, you know, and you don't like push down the negative emotions. But in general, just like if you want to have a fun, happy life, then you have to kind of make that for yourself. And that's kind of what he's saying, or be a good person and all that. You just kind of have to do that yourself. It's not just going to happen. So anyway, I'm not sure if that's exactly what he was getting at, but that's what I got out of it. And I really thought it was cool. And yeah, I love the two of them together. And I love that I think he does want to get back together with her, and she's not into it, but no matter what happens, they're both going to love each other. And I love that. Like, I just think it's great when people who've been in a relationship like that, like you said, Rima, can still love each other like that and want to be around each other, even if it's not going to work out for them to be in a relationship together. I wish Carol would go back with him, but there's the whole Daryl Carol thing that pretty much, I mean, I don't think they're going to announce a surprise that Eugene's going to be be there too. I mean, Eugene, that'd be weird.
Well, he does like to watch, but so be cut off in this.
All right, Eugene and Ezekiel. Okay, I think it's my turn, right? So it was touching couple moments, which we've talked a lot about. I like the Princess is oversharing in bed like she overshares everyone else. That was great sex, and I should know. I've had a lot of sex. but then she started to backpedal, but then she's like, no, we're adults. I've had a lot of sex, so have you. And Mercer's like, I love listening to you talk. So that was a nice.
I thought that was sweet. It's like he knows her and really got her. Like, I love listening to you talk. That was just this really sweet thing to say.
Right. And if he'd said anything else, it would have been bad news for him as far as having fans in the audience. So good job, Mercer.
Yeah, no, that was super sweet though. And again, like just proving that they're a good couple and that just hit it just right. Like her still being herself and him loving her for that, or you know.
Yeah.
But then they're still new, and they are figuring out whether they can trust each other. And as Mercer said, he's had a lot of sex, but this is new for me, meaning like a serious relationship where I actually care about the person. So he's still got a wall up. He wouldn't tell her that something was actually wrong, and she didn't press it, and she ended up turning her back to him and feeling sad. And there was this sad moment of disconnection. And I was like, oh, that's too bad, but it's so real, you know. Yeah. It's such a thing that really happens. And then he did end up opening up to her later. So that was nice that they put that off a little bit, because that feels real, that you don't just automatically do it. Yeah.
No, like I said, I just love how they played that relation, like that start of the relationship. It just felt so real. It hit every beat just right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was everything with Carol and Ezekiel, which I feel like we've already talked about, but I loved all that. And then Eugene and Max at the end, where at first he told her what was going on, and she's like, I don't want to deal with that. And then she goes straight to Mercer and tries to get him to deal with it. And then he seemed to put the kibosh on it, although he's starting to come around later. But as far as Max is concerned, he said no. So I think that's when she realized, okay, I'm going to have to do something myself. Goes back to Eugene and expresses that she can't ignore what she knows about what happened. And even though she's scared and it's out of her comfort zone, that she wants to help. And then he goes, I can promise you this, whatever we find, whatever comes our way, you will not face it alone. I'll be by your side, hell or high water. What else do you want to hear from your partner, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Eugene's come a long way, and he's, you know, I've definitely warmed up to Eugene over the years, and he definitely cleans up nice than when, we saw him with the jar of pickles. So, yeah, I thought that was really sweet.
Just the couples, the Max and Eugene, Carol and Ezekiel, such as they are, and Princess and Mercer. I think that was what felt like the spine of this episode to me, and what made me like it a little more than I would have if none of that had been there.
Completely agree.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point.
And it's interesting because back in the early days of The Walking Dead, there were only couples that predated the apocalypse. It wasn't about finding someone new ever, because the situation was so dire that it would just seem crazy to try to stick romance in there. I mean, Andrea and Shane hooked up, but that was felt like just like a hookup need kind of thing.
Yeah. That's just serving a purpose.
Whenever there was any hint of, well, I guess there was Maggie and Glenn too. I guess I could be wrong about that, but it just seemed like it's become more of a romantic show as time has, they've gotten used to the situation,
Yeah.
They've done a good job with that, I feel like.
They really have. I feel like most, gosh, if I really went back and thought about it, I could probably find one or two that maybe didn't feel all that great. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I feel like for the most part, a lot of the couples feel fairly genuine.
Abraham and Sasha was weird.
Oh, yeah. That felt a little like I didn't buy the chemistry. Like when you look at some of the other
with Rosita and Sasha with Bob.
Yeah.
But I like Rick and Michonne a lot.
It took me a while to warm up to Rick and Michonne, but only because I'm a comic reader, and that at first I was like, no, this is not how this goes.
Yep. Spoiler, Rick and Andrea, that's where it's at. In the comics. Okay, I have more points. But do you guys have more? Jamie, do you have more?
We had zombies.
Yeah.
We had good zombie kills.
In a zombie show?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's been a minute since we've had some really good zombie kills. And I mean, it was brief, but like Aaron, Ezekiel, and Daryl taking out that small little pack, and like, the punch out and the flood, and then the slice, and the half the head falling off. Like, that was what I watched The Walking Dead for. So we got that, and that was really.
And then Daryl hit one with the butt of his gun, and then poked the other one like in the face, I guess, and steered it around so he could shoot both of them with one bullet.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then
that was done so well. The music, right. And then he kicks the head over at him with a flourish at the end. The music was and it was super badass. That's what I was going to say at the top, but I cut myself off. That was a favorite moment of this episode for sure.
Yeah, I'm always appreciative of a good zombie kill. Love that zombie kill of the week. And I love seeing our group in action. It's just what they do. It's just what they're so good at. And I swear, it's like Hornsby has no idea what our group is capable of. He has no idea what they've been through and what they've seen. And like trying to put them in this dangerous situation, and like, yeah, they got this.
What do you think he was doing? I mean, I think it was kind of what you're saying, Jamie. Just exert your power over people, but the way he phrased it was, well, you said you could handle yourselves. And so maybe it was just to see if Aaron and Gabriel were telling the truth. But I also felt like he was kind of disappointed they didn't die.
Or at least get into some trouble.
Yeah.
Because
he was disappointed they did handle it so well.
I mean, I was never at all scared for them. Like, I saw that. I saw the zombie. I'm like, oh, they got this.
No. Yeah, I wasn't.
The zombies look nice and creepy, though. But yeah. Not scared for 1 second.
Nope. I knew they had it.
Do you have any more, Rima?
Oh, well, Leah. It's I just feel so irritated that she's back and that they decided to bring her back. I feel like her whole, like, she seems, instead of just shooting them when they're approaching her camp, because she's supposed to be all badass, this super deadly assassin badass, right?
Mercenary.
Yeah, and then she like, okay, I'll not shoot you and listen to what you have to say. Just seems more narrative driven instead of actually true to her character. that we've been presented with, and that kind of bugs me. And she got their people killed, so let's go offer her a job. Or, you're the one that stole the guns. Let's go offer you a job. It's just that part for me was kind of hard to believe that, Hornsby
like
would
Lance
do that.
Let Aaron and Gabriel go. He let Daryl go after he pointed a gun at him and told him he was going to kill him. And now he's offering Leah a job. I guess that's how he does it.
Yeah.
All right. I have a point about just Max and Mercer's changing attitudes. We saw Mercer kill those 2 soldiers, and I thought in that moment, oh, he's ready for action. But it turns out, no, he covered that up, and he's still sort of back to business as usual. And that's because he's kind of resigned to things the way they are, saying to Max, ain't none of this shit new. People hurt each other. People kill each other. It happens all the time. It's part of the job. And he feels trapped because even if he did go after Sebastian or something, then he'll be in trouble. And then if he disappears, then he says, who will keep this place running? So he feels a responsibility to, he wants to keep people safe. That's what he said later to Princess too. I've always been a person who keeps people safe, and he knows that shaking up the apple cart could put people in danger, and probably would.
I like that about him. He seems honorable.
Yeah, but he's being pushed to a point where it's too much. Like, people are getting hurt if he doesn't do anything. So, and Max is encouraging him to do more. And she's telling him the community listens to you and looks up to you, and you could be more than a soldier, and you could change this place. And we saw when he was walking the red carpet that he was treated like a celebrity. So I knew that was going to play into something like this.
Shoot, he's got his own poster. Did you see that on the wall?
Exactly.
Great.
Right. And, Eugene went to Max to ask him to help find out what's going on. And she got anxious. And then that flower plant delivery guy came, and she left in it kind of quickly. But then she went straight to Mercer. And I think, she was looking up to him like a big brother, like, can you handle this? And as far as she knew, he was a big no to that. So then she went back to Eugene and had that scene we talked about before where she kind of changed her mind. Maybe I'm not built for this, but I don't think I have a choice. And so I thought maybe because Mercer turned her down, that then she was like, all right, I got to take some responsibility. But they're both in a similar spot. They have security, and rebelling would be out of their comfort zone and dangerous, but they feel compelled to do something because of the injustice that's happening. So now, like, all of our people seem fed up, like you were saying earlier, Rima. And so now we have like 2 of the major characters that were already in the Commonwealth, Mercer and Max, who are pretty fed up, and they're close to the leaders. So let's get this rebellion going. Come on.
Totally.
And I mean, actually, I've read some comments about next week's episode, and people don't seem that satisfied, to be honest. But
oh no.
Like, what is the first? They have to find out exactly what's going on. There's like investigating what's going on. So I feel like that's what's going to happen next episode. It's going to be more about that. I don't know.
Oh, bummer.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, I mean, it has to be invested. Like, there can't be some big thing. Like, it's got to be a setup for the last 8. Yeah. It can't be anything super satisfactory or anything.
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I feel like, we're going to definitely be probably left with a lot of questions, maybe a cliffhanger, and that's okay. We know we've got more.
Cliffhanger's fine.
It's mid-season finale. We've had plenty that do that. That's okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be Glenn under a dumpster, at least.
Yeah, totally. I know I'm trying to talk myself into liking
Mercer
it before.
won't fit.
Yeah.
So
dude, that better be one hell of a dumpster. Jeez. That dude is ripped.
All right, let's get in some notes. What do you got, Jamie? Anything?
It was really cute seeing Judith and RJ going to school and looking like normal little kids. Like, Judith looked so much younger. Like, she just, like, it was just kind of a sweet little thing to see them get to be normal kids.
Do you know Kaylee Fleming's, what was she, 14?
Is she that old?
Yeah, she said it. We did the panel with her a couple weeks ago at Pandemic.
Fake and Rima, yeah.
Yeah, and she said that, I almost fell out of my chair because I was like, because she's still, she's a petite young lady, and so she still looks a lot younger than. So yeah, she's almost 15, and I was just like,
Anything else, Jamie?
There was only one other little thing that just kind of hit me in the feels was Herschel at his dad's grave when Hornsby showed up. Like, and for some reason it didn't click in the first watch. It was the second watch. I'm like, oh my god, that he's sitting talking to his dad.
I didn't even notice that until you just said it.
He was at Glenn's
That's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, jeez.
Glenn's there at Hilltop.
And then Lance, happened to have picked up this hat, which is Glenn's hat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's his dad's hat. And cleverly, I think he was putting it on him just to see if it would fit, which at first I thought, oh, this is very clever. He's trying to see if, there's a connection between this apartment complex and Maggie and her people. But then I'm like, okay, you found a kid's hat. Like, how do you know it wasn't the hat of somebody at this apartment complex? Like, presumably they had kids there. And then if you took it to Hilltop, why would you think it was this one kid's? There's other kids at Hilltop.
Yeah.
And also, if it happened to fit him, he goes, what are the odds? I'm like, yeah, pretty good. Like,
it's like a kid's hat fits kid. What a shock.
Yeah. So it wasn't that clever, but it was neat to see Glenn's hat again.
It was nice to see the hat, but it was a little weird and forced. But yeah, when he was sitting there, I'm like, oh my god, he's talking to his dad. He's probably apologizing for not killing the bad man who killed him. Like,
yeah, that would have been an interesting conversation to hear. I wish Stephen Yeun would come on and just do like some kind of a surreal, dream scene or something like that.
Well, is there even a picture of him around that Herschel would know what his dad looks like?
There used to be that painting.
Yeah.
At Hilltop.
But is that still around? Like, did that survive anything?
Know.
Well, because there was the fire, right? And
yeah, probably not, huh?
I don't know.
Like, how awful is that? Like, not having pictures.
Yeah. I mean, speaking as a guy myself who never met his own father, well, until like a few years ago, it's not like you're pining for your father. It's just like, oh, it's just your life, Like, I think it would be that whole thing with Herschel facing off against Negan last episode, I loved, but I also kind of had the thought, like, the one who really needs to reconcile with Negan is Maggie. She's the one who had the biggest loss. Herschel just, he had Maggie, and that was fine. That's how I felt about my mom when I was a kid. But maybe that's just me.
Well, yeah, but I think Maggie's also, she's holding such a grudge. She probably put that a little bit on him. Like, the bad man took your daddy away. Yeah. Like, so it's not like he's like, that's just what it is. Like, he's been told that somebody took his father away from him. It wasn't like his father made a choice to leave. His father was taken away.
I do feel there was probably a little bit of projection from Maggie onto Herschel. It wasn't just your father died before you were born, and yes, the bad man took him away and kind of left it at that. I bet there was probably a little bit of projection.
Sure. I'm just like, from my own experience, it doesn't feel like a loss when you've never met the person, It's not like you were 6 years old and your father died or was killed and you got to know and love him first, if they were just never there. But still, yes, of course, if you met the man who murdered your father that you never met, you probably wouldn't like him.
Totally, because then you do have to think about, well, I could have had a father in my life if not for you. And I'm sure that Maggie loved Herschel and still does, of course. But I mean, like, has loved him so much that he maybe hasn't felt the loss, and that's all he knows is a mother, but also community. I mean, we see so much in The Walking Dead. It's not just the parents that raise these kids, it's the whole community. And I feel Maggie, I think, probably had the same, in different parts of her life, with the communities after she had left our group anyway, and after she had left the Hilltop. So, I mean, maybe he didn't feel the loss as greatly as what Maggie did, because she actually had a life with Glenn.
Judith is like, hey, at least your parents are still here.
Yeah, her parents abandoned her.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah, I feel Judith is the one I really do feel for. Now, I know that they think that Rick is dead. We know otherwise, and they think that, but she did, yeah, for a time have Rick in her life. And then Michonne just decides to leave, which still just irks the shit out of me. And, RJ too. So
she might not know Rick because she was
hard.
Just a baby.
It's hard to know when you have your first memories and stuff, as a toddler, but still.
But Michonne for sure.
Michonne for sure.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any notes?
Not I. We have talked all my notes.
Okay, let's see. I like that Ezekiel's clinic was a disguised veterinary treatment center. That's clever.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that appendectomy and you see the gore of the surgery. And I'm like, before The Walking Dead, they wouldn't show this kind of gore on TV too much. But now, because of The Walking Dead, you can show it. And we've seen much worse on The Walking Dead. But because it's a surgery and it's a different context, it might seem worse because it seems more real, to be poking around inside somebody's body like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's gross. I think.
Well, did you watch the after stuff with Angela Kang?
I can't remember. I think I did about a week ago, but I forgot. Oh, yeah. They said about the director.
The director was, she was a long time actress on ER, which I love ER. It's one of my most all-time favorite shows ever. I remember her fondly from that show. So,
Same.
That's awesome. Yeah. So when they showed her, I didn't know her name, to be honest, as an actress. I just remember her character in the show. But when they showed her that scene of her, I was like, oh my God, yes, I remember her. So she's the perfect person to be directing a medical type procedure there on the show, because she went through thousands of them on ER. Love that show.
I'm excited that Anthony Edwards is going to be a guest star on Tales of the Walking Dead.
I love him. Yeah.
Good old Mark Green.
Oh, I love Mark Green. Oh God, don't get me started.
I'm looking through. I think we've pretty much covered everything else. So that was great. Let's take a little break. There's more to come. Stay with us.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Deadcast news update.
That soundbite never gets old. I love it so much.
I was kind of excited to hear it live.
I know, it's so great. All right, couple news items this week. One comes from Insider.com. It's a couple of things from an interview they had with Paola Lozara, who of course plays Princess so wonderfully, I might add. One of the things that they talked to her about was she was actually at the Fandemic convention that Jason and I had kind of mentioned previously in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. So they were asking her about that. They said, was that your first con experience since the pandemic, and what was that like? And she said it was her fourth in-person con, but her character was introduced at the height of COVID. So, she was kind of talking about that experience. And she said that she had done some virtual cons during the height of the pandemic, but this was her fourth in person. She said it was really awesome. She says, I just have a blast and I'm my clownish self and everybody's laughing. I'm laughing with them and I'm exhausted and I'm having a great time getting to know everybody. She said, I think the biggest thing that I'm going to take away from this show is the fact that my character speaks about mental health and going through trauma and PTSD and anxiety and depression and ADHD. She said, when I go to conventions, I have people come up to me and thank me for the character. I'm so thankful that I get to play a character that speaks on that. And I thought that was...
And she was so great at the convention. She had her big pink fur vest on or whatever jacket. And there was always a line of people and they were always laughing.
Yes. Every time I walked by, I'm bummed I didn't get a chance to have a picture with her or get to meet her.
We should have done it.
I know there was so much going on, and you always think, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then later comes and you don't get to it. But she did always have a very long line, and I was so happy for her. And you're right. Every time I walked by, she was smiling. The people were smiling. They were having a great time.
Yeah.
So they ask a little bit about the relationship between her and Mercer. They said, how would you describe their relationship? Are they officially a couple? Are they kind of keeping their relationship on the down low? We don't see them going out in public holding hands or anything, but they were at the ball together. And she responds by saying, I think they're still getting to know each other. So I think both of them are kind of scared to say, hey, I want to be with you. I think they're nervous because it's been a while since either of them probably is connected with someone on that level. She says it's so scary to get back into that and to be transparent about your feelings. But I think they're getting closer to that definitely after this episode.
I mean, yeah, she hadn't even seen a real person for a year before Eugene and them came along.
Totally. Yeah. So isolating. And then they say, well, there's this sweet small moment between you guys where Princess hears Mercer say that he likes to hear her talk. And I felt that was a moment that likely made her feel seen. She says, I think it's very sweet because Princess is one of the few characters on this show that speaks a lot. I think Negan, Ezekiel, and Princess usually go on in a very detailed way. It's not just whatever. It's very well crafted by the writers. To have his acceptance in her expressing her mind and how she feels is the ultimate acceptance that she's been seeking, especially when you can find it in a romantic partner. That's just such a joy when somebody gets you and you can just be yourself in front of them.
That was the perfect thing for him to say because she's a talker.
Yeah.
And you want someone who likes to hear it. And he's not a talker, so they're good complementary pair.
It's so sweet.
I love that. Yeah, totally. I relate to that. I talk and sometimes just don't shut up. So if someone can actually appreciate that, then score.
Same.
Exactly. Okay, so next item I have comes from entertainmentweekly.com. This was from an interview with Angela Kang, our showrunner. So they ask, in this episode, we see Max and Mercer and Tommy all either breaking the rules or talking about having broken the rules or talking about breaking the rules in the future. How much is the foundation of the community starting to shake a bit here? And how responsible are the folks from Alexandria in terms of setting that in motion? She says, I think that there are some things starting to crack. And the way that we looked at the story is that whatever we bring the heroes that we've been following for a long time into a new community, we ask ourselves, what changes as a result of them coming? Because by bringing a new element into an ecosystem, the ecosystem is going to change as a result. So what they come into is a system where there's a lot of unhappiness. Just the fact that Max was calling people on the radio trying to connect and was willing to run away at first, that tells you something about her state of mind. The fact that you never quite know where Mercer stands a lot of the time, that tells you something. The fact that there was a soldier who came and said, there's thousands like me that are unhappy with the system, that tells you something. But a lot of times it takes something to push people into further action, beyond just the feeling of like, I'm discontented. So our heroes coming into the situation, suddenly a bunch of dynamics have shifted, and you're also seeing people who are used to living more free and have survived all these years, just like everybody in the Commonwealth. And the Commonwealth's sell to everybody has been, well, certain things work a certain way, but look, you all get to live, and this is the only way that people survive. So when you don't have any perspective beyond that, it's really easy to go, well, if we change anything, then maybe it does all fall apart. So when people come in and say, actually, we've made it this long, and we didn't live like this, then that does start to change perspectives. That's not to say that the people of the Commonwealth don't have their own agency, but they are being affected by our heroes, and our heroes are being affected by them.
I mean, any community that our heroes come into.
We've seen a pattern. If you've paid attention throughout the years, what tends to happen? I don't know.
It's not safe to invite these people in.
That is interesting, though, for people who've been living there and maybe not that satisfied, but being just like, this is just the way it is, kind of like Mercer was this episode, to then see our characters who've been out on their own this whole time and think, oh, maybe there's another way.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like like Rick and the whole group should have like posters up on the walls of communities like, don't let these people in, don't let these people in. Like things get all messed up.
Dangerous. Yeah. If you see this person, call 911.
Okay, last item, and I saved this for last because I'm not sure. I'm hoping I can even say the words without getting like super emotional. But in case you haven't seen the news, The Walking Dead wrapped their filming after 12 years on March 31st. So just a handful of days ago, the series wrapped their filming. As of that day, there were
fuck.
very appropriate. Just leave it at that. So yeah, there was, you can see a lot of cast reactions to that and things that they had to say, and that was, I know we've got more episodes to come. We're going to get to see the result of that, but it was just, definitely some feelings there involved. So
shit.
That's my favorite. So I don't know. It was, I know, pretty difficult for me, but I'm curious and would love to kind of get y'all's thoughts.
I've been following the Instagram posts of a lot of the actors of the last day, and every time it just gets me right in the feels. Like, it just, this show's been such an important part of my life, and just to know that it's over, even though it's not over for me, but it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It feels weird.
Yep.
It's sad.
Sucks.
Right? I saw Norman Reedus was like, he was that one where he's hugging Greg Nicotero.
Mm-hmm.
It was the last day of filming, and he's like, Greg's like, what are you going to do after this? And he's like, I'm going to be curled up on my floor with a martini or something like that.
Yeah.
Crying. But dude, you got the spinoff. What are you talking about? You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Well,
no, it's
I
not
actually
the same.
different cast.
I actually
different
forwarded
crew.
that one to my friend.
He was saying it was almost like, because he was like, where am I going to eat? And who's going to, I forget what else it was, but it sounds like he's got a lot of people doing stuff for him while he's on this show, like doing his laundry or something. But anyway, yeah, I imagine it must be pretty, it's got to be, just it's like when high school's over, or I don't know, when you leave a job. It's even more intense, though, especially for someone like Norman Reedus, who's been doing it for 12 years.
Yeah.
It's got to be a big emotional moment. Yeah, I felt sad. I always think that it is the right time for the show to be wrapping up, for sure. But it doesn't mean it's not sad when you find out that it's the last day of filming. I wouldn't want them to keep dragging it out more, but it's still, God, it started off this whole podcasting thing for me personally, which has been my whole life for the last 12 years. And we've expanded out to all these other shows, but The Walking Dead is the most special for sure. So that's going to be over, and it's interesting. It's the end of an era. And I thought, I always try to appreciate whatever time I'm in for what's special about it. Cause you often look back and go, man, we really had a great time then, but I want to like really appreciate it while it's going on. And I have so much, all the good things that have come because of podcasting about this show. But, I know that no matter what happens, I'm going to look back on all of it so fondly. Everything with The Walking Dead. It's a good 12 years too. That's a long time. So it's not like it's taken from us too soon or something like that,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's good.
Yep. Good.
Even
thoughts.
though it's sad, I feel good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It hit me harder than what I thought it would. We knew it was coming,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like, oh, Sting, that ouch. Yeah, wasn't.
Yeah, just to think they're not out there making any more of it.
Yeah. So
They're done.
So yeah.
But guys, we'll always have fear.
I can't.
Oh boy.
It feels wrong to me that fear's still going on.
Right?
All
Like, at
kinds
least
of
cancel it.
wrong.
end fear out of respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Stop.
And Dickens is going back on there.
God. I love her, but even she can't save it. I'm sorry.
I'm like, you didn't watch any of this, did you? When you were gone. How much are they paying you?
I'm going to say they had to have sent a wheelbarrow full of money to her house. That's all I'm saying. And good for her. Make that money, girl, but damn. Anyway, that is all the news items I have for this week.
All right. That's great. Let's move on to listener moans, groans, and grunts. Jamie, you want to go first?
All right. Alma Contreras, good episode. We finally got to that 6 months later scene from the episode 9. I knew there was no way in hell Daryl would go up against Maggie, the way they made it seem.
Yep.
Hornsby's starting to get more unhinged by the minute. I think he's starting to see that our people are more than capable of handling themselves, and they really don't need the Commonwealth military force. I didn't realize that Riverbend was so close to Hilltop. Oh, snap. Hornsby gonna cut a deal with the freaking Leah? Angry emoji, puking emoji. I wonder what job he needs for her. Maybe to take out Maggie and or Gabe and Aaron? Oof, shit is about to go down, and I am here for it.
I wonder if he knows, because he was looking for the killers, not the weapons. And Daryl and Aaron and Gabriel said they were going to go look for the guns to try to placate Lance. But he didn't find the killers, well, the ones he was looking for. He found the woman that has all the weapons. I wonder if he even realizes that yet, or maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe he just saw, oh, she's badass. I could use her. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Wyman Owen says, wow, this episode was so good with lots going on everywhere. Couple points from me. I trust that Mercer and Princess were made for each other. I trust that Lance is a piece of shit. I trust that seeing Carol and the King get time together was awesome. Max and Eugene were cute this episode. And don't keep pissing Maggie off. She's liable to hang you from the rafters. Great episode. Should be a nice lead into the part 2 finale. And giving Daryl the F-bomb was great. See, I have a witness.
That was a good one, Wyman. I trust that Daryl said the F-bomb. I just want to know the exact thing he said. I'll have to go look it up later.
Yeah,
Brad Sampson says that was an intense episode. Daryl throwing out that rare F-bomb. Ezekiel using his second chance to help others get help. Princess getting some from Mercer. Getting some. Maggie and Hornsby at each other's throats. The scene with Hornsby, Gabriel, and Aaron on the rooftop was hilarious. I still want to know what Carol has up her sleeve. I don't think even she knows yet.
Ashley Edward Wolf. Oh my god, OMG. Daryl dropped an F-bomb. I guess Jason and I were the only ones who didn't notice.
I know.
I could feel the intensity and worry of Daryl and Maggie while Lance was looking over the truck. It was all so good. Oh my god, Princess and Mercer. Heart. That's all just OMG. Mercer will be the new governor of the Commonwealth by the end. That's my prediction, and he would make a damn fine governor. Winky face. I can't wait for Maggie to end Leia. I can't wait. I hope she ends her in episode 16. Please, don't carry that bitch into the C-Block episodes.
I know. Please.
Yes, please.
Please.
I think they will. Oh, well.
Another great episode. The Walking Dead crew is killing it this season. Great storytelling, great writing, and exceptional acting.
That's awesome. That reminds me, I was thinking, while Mercer is talking to his sister, he's also pumping iron and building up a sweat and everything. And I was like, I bet Lucy doesn't hear a word he's saying right now.
It was hard to pay attention. And I respected the fact that he wasn't willing to, while he's having this serious conversation, that he's keeping those reps in. Good dedication, my man. Dublino Bob Grippy says, when Elijah grabbed him and put him up against the wall, best part. Mercer and Princess, sexy beast couple. So Carol is now an agent for the secret police. I don't really buy that Ezekiel would have his tumor removed and only walked around with such a little graze on his neck. It wasn't a pimple.
He has a big bandage on there.
Yeah. Good idea, bad idea. Good idea, cover up what actually happened. Bad idea, get questioned by Lance on the rooftop right in front of the part where people were just thrown off, similar to the Messenger and Leonidas situation. This is Sparta. Sorry. Anyone else notice my man Carlson was the first face shown at the beginning of the entire episode? Noticed that on my second watch. Yep. Jason pointed that out. What did that key open that was hanging from the hilltop car rearview mirror? Purple burglar alarm.
Good job. Nils Cordis says, I want to like those episodes, but for me, it's still a bunch of subpar thrillers. This time, a conspiracy with everyone at Hilltop acting like they're in Fear the Walking Dead. The Ezekiel bits were great. That's an earned conflict. Him talking with Carol was among the best the show's been all season. I just don't dig the heavily plotted drama of the best. It is more heavily plotted lately, and that's goes to something I've said all along with this series, that I feel like it's hard to do intricate plots in the zombie apocalypse because you don't have all the intricacies of society to play with. But now that they do, the writers are really going crazy with it. So it feels different for sure. But Nils thinks that it's not as good as, or what do you say, subpar thrillers.
Mm-hmm.
Janet Seidel? I thought it was a great episode, although I did an actual eye roll when Hornsby, who was in fact awful, offered Leah a job.
Gary J. Hewitt says, clearly from the title, this episode is all about trust. Trust in past friends and trust in strangers. I am putting trust in the writers to quickly kill off Leah and not forget about Dog. Seriously, where's Dog?
I was wondering.
That's the important question.
He's with Luke somewhere. Barry Evett says, ugh, Hornsby makes me sick. I was so glad that Herschel didn't fall for his veiled threats. Way to go, Herschel. And I was ecstatic to see Daryl come to his senses and choose the right side. Unfortunately, I know this isn't yet settled between Hornsby and Hilltop. This is such a good season of The Walking Dead.
Rita Catalina Oral? I know whenever I want to make a major confession, I always do it in a hallway where anyone could overhear.
What is that about?
Mercer and Princess, when he was saying, "Hey, I killed my," I did kind of notice that they were outside of the apartment, because she's like, "Well, let's go inside and figure it out now that we've told everyone what's going on."
Not inside.
That's funny. Steve Barr says Hornsby wanted to be Maggie's friend. Odds are he'll die screaming by her hand.
Yeah,
probably.
I feel like Hornsby's not going to make it to the end.
He's not going to, I don't think, have a pleasant end at all.
Could be wrong. We'll see. Megan, Dively Lehman says, random thought about the Commonwealth's reintroduction of money to power the post-ZA economy. I'm surprised nobody has invented their own currency yet. It would have been totally on brand to have Negan bucks printed up with his big cheesy grin to use for buying jerky and cigs in the sanctuary. Did they have any kind of money? I can't remember. Maybe not.
Didn't they? I don't know if it was money, but they seemed to have like a market there at the sanctuary. But was it currency, or did they trade? Or
I think they did have some kind of tokens or something.
Yeah, because I mean that's how he got a lot of his wives, was because their real husbands needed something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Stower. I'm more and more sure we are getting faked out. What happened to Redacted in the comics, I'm sure, is what's going to happen to Daryl now. The spin-off shows are a fake to throw us off.
No.
I don't think so. I don't agree with any of that.
I mean, a lot of people are saying that, and I think it'd be awesome. But I don't think AMC would say, guess what, everybody, we're doing shows about your favorite character. Just kidding. We're not.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening with the movies, right?
Yeah, but they're not doing that on purpose. and look how the fans are reacting to that. We're pissed, right? That would just not be a cool thing to do. It wouldn't be good for them to pretend something that a lot of people would want is going to happen and then say, oh no, we faked you out.
Yeah.
That's why I have trust issues. If they did that, I would just never trust them again.
I would love it, but I just don't think they would do it because most people wouldn't love it.
Scott Carl with them says, I'm a bit worried that there's not enough episodes left to bring this to a satisfactory ending. It needs to move even quicker.
Yeah, I've been pushing back on those kind of sentiments, but I'm starting to feel that way too now. Let's get it going. Got an email from Carolyn about last week's episode. Could Panic Room April be Tyler's sister? She fell on hard times. Tyler was trying to support his sister. She had kids. So did Tyler's sister. I read that and thought, yeah, maybe. But I saw on the list he was Tyler Davis and she was April Martins, but maybe she's married.
She could have been married.
Yeah, so maybe. Yeah, it's interesting. She goes on, also, I don't think Negan would have planned on marriage and a baby, given his womanizer background. I want to believe he genuinely respects and enjoys Annie's companionship, but knocked her up early and felt it proper to marry her. What do you guys think about that?
I think he's over the womanizing thing. I think this is another sign that he is changed.
I think he's evolved a little. I don't think that.
I think he's over it. I think he wants to build what was good about his relationship with his first wife, Lucille, minus the cheating part, and he's trying to be a better man. And I don't think he's married her because he felt a responsibility because he knocked her up or anything like that. I think really the point they're pushing hard with Negan now is he's trying to be a better man. So that would go against that a little bit. I mean, not totally, but it's more of a good story for him if he just found this incredible woman and said, will you marry me? Let's have babies together. Than if he found this incredible woman, accidentally got her pregnant and was like, okay, I guess I should marry you.
And he seemed genuinely excited to say he was married. Like, it wasn't like oh yeah, we had to get married. Yeah,
no. I think he's totally head over heels in love. All right, we got a few calls. Here's Penny Lennox.
Hey, Walking Dead cast, it's Penny. I had a couple of thoughts about these last few episodes. First, Lance Hornsby has zero chill. With his fussy hairdo and wearing vests all the time, it's like if Niles Crane was in the zombie apocalypse, but with evil. You can tell he totally grinds his teeth by how even and short they are. I've seen this kind of mounting stress and tightly bottled panic before. It's what most junior attorneys look like most of the time. I predict he'll be developing an eye twitch next. I hope the Commonwealth is growing cannabis alongside those poppies. The other thing is that Seth Gilliam is just having the greatest season of all time, right? He gets all these heroic moments and delivering badass lines, and they're giving him lots of screen time, and Gabriel has rediscovered his faith. This makes me worried that he's going to get killed off soon, and maybe in the mid-season finale, because we haven't had a major death in a long time, and it seems like we're due. I hope I'm wrong, though, because I really want AMC to announce a spin-off called Aaron and Gabriel Encounter Actors from the Terminator franchise. This group of actors includes not only, the Governator and a former Batman, but also Shirley Manson, Bryce Dallas Howard, Common, Cersei Lannister and Daenerys Targaryen, the 12th Doctor, Bellatrix Lestrange, J. Jonah Jameson, and the Mayhem guy from the Allstate ads. Also, Chris Hardwick. I would watch the fork out of that show, and I bet all of you would too. All right, talk to you soon.
I think I would be more excited about that spinoff than any of the ones that are announced, just because I've loved their interactions lately. Even that little moment on the roof that I forget which one you mentioned, but they're so good together.
Yeah, that's the spinoff show I think I would most want to watch, is them together.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch it for Dean Winters alone. He's the Mayhem commercial guy.
I don't quite agree with you about Lance being all stressed out. I think maybe he's a little stressed, but I also think he's jazzed about all the machinations he's into, Game of Thrones style.
Oh,
I think he's
totally
turned on
into
by
it.
it and driven by it. Yeah,
He's
so
like
I
a
don't get the
Littlefinger.
feeling he's like harried or anything. He's like Littlefinger.
Or he
Look what I
likes
can
to
do.
think that he is, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, we got Owen from Leeds.
Hi, Jason and Lucy. Owen from Leeds, England here. A snowy Leeds, miserably cold snow and sleet Leeds that's just, ugh. I mean, come on, it's right at the end of March. Should be sunny, we should be getting into that summer weather. Oh, what I'd give to be back in Hawaii. Anyway, The Walking Dead, episode 15 of season 11. Good episode. A lot of stuff's coming together. Kind of a couples episode, you've got Mercer and Princess. That's a hot couple. You've got you've got Eugene and Max. Nice little kiss at the end. In fact, Mercer and Max are very cute siblings. You've got Aaron and Gabriel, Negan and old what's she called?
Annie.
So yeah, that's nice. But yeah, anyway, I thought it was a good episode. A lot of politicking going on. Nice to see Ezekiel in his quote-unquote vet surgery. Carol playing both sides as usual. And now Max is going to get up to no good as well on behalf of our decent people. Our people who are here to save us. You could call them the saviours, because they were the first heroes. Just like Negan. Anyway, yeah, next week. Shit's going down. Evil Leah, the vigilante, on Team Commonwealth versus Team Negan and the good guys. Bring it on. Can't wait. Anyway, I'm off to go look at the snow. But you guys, you can just look at the flowers. Look at the flowers, guys.
Getting a little hostile at the end there.
Not today.
It never snows here. I'd like it to snow for a little while. I love that. Never get snow.
You can have it. That was a lovely voicemail. What a lovely accent. Thank you.
Thanks, Owen. He doesn't think he has an accent, but we do. Here's Steve Brown.
Ooh, Walking Dead cast. This is Steve, and this is for Trust. Oh, Carlson. Bloody Carlson. That's basically it. Yeah, that's the story. He's probing for information to see if he's involved in rebellion, you think, or if there's something bigger going on. I'm not sure what this questioning of Princess to Mercer is. Normal thing, just walking your kids to school. Ew, that shot of Aaron hitting that zombie's head with his mace hand. Ugh. And Gabriel slicing that brain open. Whew. So here we are of the scene that opened the season, right? Or this section. Dang, the word trust being thrown around like everything. Mic dropping. For the greater good, you're just going to sweep it under the rug, huh, Mercer? Oh, such a good line to explain what's going on, Tommy. Why upset the apple cart when it's keeping you safe? Burning the engine to what? Oh, okay, to ethanol. Well, that's the fuel they gave him, was ethanol for ethanol vehicles. Is Daryl out of his armor now? Carol's got more connections than we even know of. Wow, Mercer coming clean about everything. Get him, Elijah, putting his hands on Herschel. Okay, this is, Norman Reedus has it down. This is how you hold a rifle. You got a cheek weld, you got a sight line picture. Perfect. That's the way you hold a rifle. Oh, that's trouble. The appendix burst. Oh, that's sweet, Eugene and Max. Oh, next week's gonna be good. We'll be watching it tomorrow morning.
So what would you guys say was the zombie kill of the week?
I like the slice in half.
Slice in half for me. That was great. I love it.
For me, it was the pulverizing with the mace hand.
That was a very close second. I just had to go with my gut on that call.
Yeah, they were both good.
Both pretty good.
Love the gore.
Right. 2 more calls. Here's Thomas, who called in about last week's episode.
Hi, Jason. Hi, Lucy. This is Thomas from Arizona. And Lucy, I hope you're feeling better and you had a safe recovery. But I wanted to comment on this week's episode, the season 11, episode 14. So Negan and Herschel. Now, the conversation that they had, it was so intriguing to me when Negan went all Kill Bill style and said, "One day when you're older, you can come and find me." And I had this entire brain explosion moment where I thought, what if we're going to have this huge time jump, right? In this so-called Isle of the Walking Dead. And Herschel is now an adult, and they can age everyone up about 10 years, right? Let's say Negan has a child as well who's about 10 years of age. And there's this whole backstory catalog, and we will eventually get to the point where probably last episode, Herschel has the opportunity to kill Negan as he bespoke, so many years ago. So now I feel like I already know how the ending's going to be for that show. But I just thought that was really interesting. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if they don't follow up on that now that it's been put out there. And I would guess that there'll be a time jump at some point somewhere, and we'll see teenage Herschel confront Negan.
Yeah.
In some way.
That'd be cool if they would do that.
Yeah, be cool. I doubt he would kill him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Thanks, Thomas. Good to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in a while. One more call from Robin Springer.
Good morning, Jason and Lucy. It's Robin down here in Georgia again. The civilization and Commonwealth has really sanded off the rough edges of a couple of our characters with 80 grit sandpaper. I don't think it was this episode, but when Daryl took Judith to school, I noticed she's gotten her hair cut in a blunt cut, and she's lost her badass braid, and she's dressed in her little dress. And Princess, all of the wild and wonderful wackiness of Princess has pretty much disappeared. Although, good for her, she is an adult who has had a lot of sex, and that's okay. That's a good thing. Good for her and Mercer. I did want to also mention, and Jason, go ahead and edit this out if you think it's inappropriate, but there are a couple of organizations that people who want to help Ukrainians can donate to, and the money is right there on the street in Ukraine. The first is World Central Kitchen, the organization run by Jose Andres. They are literally on the streets of Ukraine giving food to people. They partner with local restaurants and partners and give everyone that they can a plate of hot food, which seems like a small thing, but is really, really huge. He's in Bucha right now and has seen firsthand the atrocities. Anyway, WCK.org, you can donate to them. They're a wonderful organization. Also, the Polish Red Cross, anything you donate to them is going straight to Ukraine. They need all the help they can get with all of the refugees that they've taken in, and that is redcrossredcrescent.org, and you can donate to them. And there's another local one in upstate New York where I grew up. It's John Kuko, Kucko Digital. He's a photographer, and he's putting together a series of photos of sunflowers that he's putting onto postcards. You can order them from his Facebook page, and he's putting together a list of schools and orphanages that have taken in kids from Ukraine, whether with their parents or not, and he'll put that list up. And you can buy the cards, and eventually he'll have the list of organizations where you can send them to the kids to just give them hopefully some sort of a boost, which I'm sure they can all need. Anyway, just my 2 cents about what you can do if you want to help the people of Ukraine. It's really bad there. Anyway, bye, y'all.
I really appreciate you calling in with that, Robin, and I'll definitely include all of those links in the show notes for anyone who wants to check out any of those places to donate. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for providing that.
All right, that is our show, episode 466. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. I'm only going to get to say that a few more times, except for on all the other podcasts I do on the many other shows, but for The Walking Dead. Thank you. Thank you, Rima and Jamie, for guesting. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. It was fun to talk to you guys.
Yes.
appreciate you coming on.
This was so much fun.
It's been a long time coming, Jamie. I'm glad you wanted to come on.
I'm glad I came on.
I didn't even mention it, but Lucy is good. She's feeling good, and she is on vacation. This was a planned thing. I think she's somewhere where she can visit Game of Thrones locations.
I heard.
I forget
so
where
jealous.
exactly, but yeah, I'm jealous. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So she said she was going to take a bunch of pictures, and she'll be back next week for the mid-trimester finale.
Yes.
In the meantime, if you want to write in or leave us a message, you can find all our contact information at podcastica.com.
While you're there, be sure to check out our other shows.
Like Strange Indeed, which I know started as a Stranger Things podcast and will continue as a Stranger Things podcast finally starting next month, right?
Yes, in May.
Yeah, so that's cool, man. I'm excited for you to cover that again. It's going to be you and Peg, and maybe you'll have a special guest in there once or twice.
I do feel like we're going to have a special guest sprinkled in there on occasion, and who knows? I feel like this is going to be, a season of surprises, not just from the show, but from us as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think just stay tuned. You never know
I'm
what we're going to do.
excited about this next season. Sounds like they're really going all out, and it's going to be bigger and everything.
Yeah.
So
and it better be. It frickin' took long enough to get here. So.
I know. Also, I started covering Moon Knight. We have our own Moon Knight podcast called Moon Knight Cast, but it's also on House Podcastica. It's me and Kirk Manley. First episode was great. Oscar Isaac. Feels a little bit like Legion that you and I covered, Remo, with superhero mental health issues and stuff. But it's really fun. And it's a lot more fun and funnier than I thought it was going to be.
It was really great. And yeah, good point. I don't know if we would have had Moon Knight if not maybe for Legion a little bit. But yeah, I thought that first episode was outstanding. And I'm so glad you guys are covering it.
My only problem with it is I kept thinking, this is great, but it's not as good as Legion. So I have to get that out of my head.
I know.
Yeah.
Legion is definitely stands alone up on a
for me,
a shelf for me. Yeah, it's so fantastic.
Did you see it, Jamie? Moon Knight?
Yeah, no, and I listened to your coverage of it. Like it was real. I really enjoyed the show, and obviously enjoyed listening to you guys too.
Well, it's not obvious, so I'm glad to hear. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We're also wrapping up we're in the middle, sort of towards the end of our Yellow Jackets rewatch, which is, I still just am so enamored by that show. It's so great. And coming up soon is Better Call Saul with me and Rima, and I think David, and we're going to cover the final season. I'm really excited about that. That might just be on House Podcastica. I don't know if I'm going to